Welcome back everybody to the channel. It's me, Raul Alejandro Mendoza, or the Nerdy Chicano. Either way how you say it, it's all good here. And we're back for another extra review on this wonderful Friday afternoon as we look at another 4K in my collection. And today we're looking at none other than Dune from 2021 from director Denis Villeneuve on 4K. So this was my favorite film of 2021, so I was really excited to talk about it after talking about 1984's version from David Lynch last week. But of course, before we can get into any of that wonderful stuff, I do want to thank you all for the love on the channel, and I want to remind you all, if you're new here or you haven't subscribed and you enjoy physical media and talk about 4K Blu-rays or companies like Arrow Video, the Criterion Collection, or Kino Lorber, then you want to go ahead and subscribe to this channel. And once you're subscribed, you make sure that you click that notification bell so that way you get notified whenever a piece of content drops on this channel. And of course, if you like, you can go to patreon.com/thenerdchicano for exclusives and early access to videos just like this one. It's not mandatory, but it is appreciated if you do pledge to a tier on my Patreon. But of course, anybody who watches the videos, I'm super thankful for, and it's not mandatory, but it's right there if you want to go ahead and lend an extra helping hand. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about this film from one of the greatest directors of all time. So this is pretty much the same, the plot that David Lynch's Dune follows, except Denis Villeneuve decided he's going to cover only half of Frank Herbert's original novel in this film. That is why this one is actually titled on screen Dune Part 1, whereas Dune Part 2 waits for us in October of 2023. But this film stars Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides and Zendaya as Chani, and has other actors like Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, Jason Momoa, Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, and so many other actors, making this such a stacked film when it comes to the acting department. And I've got to say, like I said in the beginning, this was my favorite film of 2021, and I've watched this several times after, and it still holds up and is still damn well my favorite movie of 2021. I love this movie, but let's go ahead and look at the packaging at the moment. I have the Steelbook edition from Best Buy. This was the exclusive Steelbook that you could buy through Best Buy, and this is the front of the Steelbook. I'm trying not to glare here. There we go. This is the back of this Steelbook. I really like the design on this one, especially up here when it comes to the ship, the Harkonnen ship. And then this is the spine of Dune, or how the joke says, dunk. This is the inside of the Steelbook. This came with a digital code, but I already redeemed it. Now let me show you what the back of this looks like when I take out the discs. This is what the inside looks like without the discs. I'm sorry about the glare there, but I hope that this is helpful at least. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to put it there, but this is the inside of the disc. As you can see, it's some great packaging, and I really like this. I went for the Steelbook version because I was really in love with the design and the artwork that was done for this one. So I'm really happy that I got this one. I know that it sold out quick. I mean, I haven't seen a Steelbook sell out quick like this one. I think I could say that the Batman sold out pretty quick too, but this one sold out pretty quick, and I'm glad that I got my hands on it because it is going for a pretty penny on eBay and stuff like that. So of course they're not going to have a nice little introduction like Arrow Video or the Criterion Collection does, but I will go ahead and read some specifications for you all so that way you know what is included in this disc. So the codec is HEVC H.265 in 59.8 megabits per second. The resolution is native 4K and 2160p. It has two HDRs here. You have Dolby Vision and HDR10 compatibility. The aspect ratio is 239 by 1. The original aspect ratio is 239 by 1 and 143 by 1. The audio has two English tracks. One is Dolby Atmos and one is Dolby True HD 7.1, 48 kilohertz at 24-bit. And then there's another English track at Dolby Digital 5.1 at 448 kilobits per second. There's French, German. There's about like a good amount of y'all. There's a lot of tracks on here, which some of them are Dolby Atmos, some are Dolby True HD, and there's some are Dolby Digital as well. Of course, you also have a lot of subtitles here, like English standard def for the hard of hearing, and French, German standard def for the hard of hearing, Italian standard def for the hard of hearing. You have Spanish, Cantonese, Danish, French, and of course, it comes with a 4K Ultra HD disc, a Blu-ray disc, and it comes with a digital 4K movie code for movies anywhere, and it's of course region free on the 4K, and it's region free on the Blu-ray. So Dune Part 1 is pretty special to me. I mean, this is my favorite film of 2021. This was actually the first film I watched in IMAX since 2009 when I watched Avatar in 3D. I also was just so hyped for this movie when it came out. I've seen this movie in the theaters, I've seen this film on streaming, and I've seen this movie on physical now. So I've been able to consume this movie on 3 different formats, and I've got to say, nothing looks better than on 4K UHD. This movie is epic. I mean, in a time where the sci-fi epic doesn't really exist anymore. There hasn't truly been a sci-fi epic in years. But Dune really brings that to the table. Denis Villeneuve's incredible direction and his large scale here really makes for the proper translation of Frank Herbert's novel to the big screen. And of course, part of me always feels like kind of sad that this is only half of the book, so when this movie ends, you're kind of left with like, oh, I want more, because I want to see where this movie continues. But of course, we have to wait for next year when the second part comes out. But even then, Denis Villeneuve just directs the hell out of this film. I mean, this is the man who directed Arrival, Prisoners, Incendie, and other great films that just made him the perfect person to tackle this novel to translate to the big screen. And you can tell these performances are incredible from people like Oscar Isaac, Rebecca Ferguson. Zendaya's not even in the movie all that much. She's in there for like a good 10 minutes, to be honest. But she still does a great job at being in there. I'm sure that in Dune Part 2, she's going to have a bigger role. But, you know, Timothée Chalamet also plays Paul Atreides. Well, he's not the best at playing Paul Atreides, but I've got to say he's a significant improvement when it comes to past adaptations of Paul Atreides. And that's not to knock Kyle MacLachlan, because I think with a better script and a better environment for that production, Kyle MacLachlan would have just been an incredible Paul Atreides. But Timothée Chalamet really does impress in his performance in this film. I just was amazed at the visuals, the visual effects, the cinematography by Greg Fraser, who won an Oscar for this film. And this film is epic. It's hard to just keep repeating that word, but that is what Dune 2021 is. It's epic, it's grand, and it's an amazing film. So I've seen this film on both HDRs. The 4K transfer is incredible, whether it's Dolby Vision or HDR10. This looks fantastic, y'all. Of course, my preference was watching it in the theater in IMAX. That's of course going to be my preference, but on physical, you can't get better than that, y'all. I mean, if you have this and you're watching it on streaming, oh man, you're missing out on such a great transfer on this disc. I am kind of disappointed that they didn't include the IMAX aspect ratio for the IMAX scenes on this film on the 4K disc, but that's not going to be anything that I'm going to be too mad about. Like, I understand why they didn't put it, but I love this transfer. It looks crisp. The contrasts are incredible. The black and white levels, the color palette, it just looks fantastic, and it's just an amazing transfer, y'all. And it's why I love 4K UHD so much, and why I think that it's such an incredible format. Of course, we do not need to let Blu-ray die. Please don't let Blu-ray die, but wow, does this movie look amazing on 4K. The audio, man, oh my god. Same thing here. I have heard this movie on both Dolby Atmos and Dolby True HD. This movie sounds freaking awesome. You can tell from the beginning when you hear the score, the dun dun dun, that the audio was freaking amazing, y'all. This is just I hate to say it again, but it's amazing. It's the audio just travels these vibrations through your body, man. I mean, you can feel the audio and everything sounds crisp, and the score is freaking incredible from Hans Zimmer. So when you hear it on that Dolby Atmos, it's freaking crazy. I that's one of my favorite things about this movie, and specifically this disc, is the way that the score plays on the Atmos track. I just am amazed by what they were able to do in the audio department, even when it comes to sound effects and the way that the dialogue sounds so crisp. I mean, they did such a great job on this movie, and the transfer to physical is just as amazing. Of course, I have that small little complaint that I wish they would have put the IMAX scenes with the IMAX aspect ratio in this film, but nonetheless, beggars can't be choosers, right? And I love this edition in 4K Ultra HD, and I love this movie, and I highly recommend, come Black Friday time, pick up Dune 2021. Or you might want to wait for Dune Part 2 in 2023, so that way you can probably get a 2-pack, or I'm not sure what they're going to do with that. Either way, I know that I love this film, and I loved the video and audio transfers, and this continues to be the epic movie that it was when it released last year. To connect with me on social media, make sure you're following me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Serialized, and Letterboxd under the Nerdy Chicano. I have the same username for all of those platforms, so let's talk about physical media, guys. Follow me. I always follow back. Keep up to date with all the things that I do on the Nerdcore by going to our website, nerdcore.com, and checking us out on YouTube and on Twitch at the Nerdcore. That's the same username for both of those places as well. And of course, I'll catch you all next week for some more physical media talk. But in the meantime, my wonderful cinephiles and renowned scholars, celebrate the love of cinema today, tomorrow, and every day after. Catch you all in the next one, guys. Bye.